Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode for the Belgian Grand Prix. You join me after practice sessions and we will finally amend that durability upgrade that failed a long time ago. That is for the energy stores. So yeah, we'll finally amend that, and we'll also go for a drag reduction upgrade because it's the only one we can afford after doing that. So let's get into qualifying now for the Belgian Grand Prix here in the Ardennes Forests. Let's see what we can do in this session. I have high hopes. Belgium has always been a pretty good track for me at the Spa circuit, so let's hope for good things. But you can see very gloomy conditions, and in fact there are a few sprinkles of rain around for this qualifying session. Not enough to call for the intermediate tyres though, so it will just be slippery conditions in this session as we try to set the best lap we can in these conditions. The track speed will not be at its best, so we head through Les Combes and out towards the very understeery right-hander as we completely miss the apex there, feeling the understeer well and truly through No Name Corner now, and again missing the apex. So this lap isn't coming together quite perfectly, and you can see the spots of rain starting to fall in this session, so it will be potentially our best chance now, as the track is still relatively dry at this point. So we'll see what we can do in this lap, but we get a lot of understeer through that left-hander as well, through the Fanya chicane, and yeah, you can just see this lap is not great. Drop a wheel and there, that's going to cost us time all the way along the straight with a slow exit out of the corner. So yeah, this lap certainly is not what I should hope that it is, but we'll see where we end up at the end of it as we head towards the bus stop chicane for the end of our first lap in qualifying, taking a lot of curb through there, trying to make up for lost time. But we open the DRS towards the line and we go P5 as it stands.
Then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
P6 now. But I actually realized after that we did that time on a very worn engine, so that's not great. We will need to change that, and because we're changing it after the start of qualifying, that's going to send us to the back of the grid as per the rules. So
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
oh, that's not great news either, is it now? We do not want the circuit to be drying out right now, as we are changing the engine, but we will probably have enough time to do that and one other component. So I'm going to go with a new what are they called, control electronics, because if that's worn it will start damaging everything else. So I changed those two components. We do get through to the next session in P16, but Bottas and Hamilton 21st and 22nd, a long way off the pace. They must have been caught out in the mixed conditions, because they're both out in Q1. That's an absolute disaster for Mercedes in this session.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
But as you can see, things aren't going too much better for us. The repairs will take the entire Q2 session, or the engine change rather, and yeah, we can't really do anything about that. So qualifying's over for us. We didn't have a chance to run in Q2, so that is it. We're going to qualify down in 16th position. Matsushita qualifies in 14th, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to drop to the back of the grid anyway, with the penalty for changing components after the start of qualifying. George Russell doing a good job to get through into Q2 as well, it should be said. But anyway, let's just get into the race, try to make up for this.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. How will not making Q3 affect your strategy tomorrow?
I don't think the soft tyres are going to be bad tomorrow, so I think pretty much everyone will start on the soft tyres. So making Q3 or not, I think the strategy will be the same.
Was today a good day for you?
It was alright. The pace was pretty decent, but Unfortunately, we forgot to switch out to the good engine before the start of qualifying, so...
What could have gone better?
Yeah, well, as I just mentioned, we forgot to switch the good engine into the car, so we were certainly lacking a bit of horsepower, but we also could have changed the engine a bit faster.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire. Alright, let's get into the race.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed. The average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about the scientists. They've got that grid penalty to worry about, of course, which puts them on the back foot from the get-go.
It's unfortunate, but it happens to everyone at some point. You just have to accept your fate, knuckle down and get on with the business of making up that deficit during the Grand Prix. So they'll be pushing hard today. One to watch for sure.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo has a clear view ahead from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Lance Stroll and Albon. Vettel, Gasly, Ocon and Max Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Norris, Giovinazzi, Nobuharu Matsushita and Russell, Latifi, Raikkonen, Kevin Magnussen and Valtteri Bottas. Kvyat, Hamilton, Grosjean and the scientist. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
A points finish might be just out of reach this race, but give it your best shot.
I will certainly try, Jeff, as we look at the strategy. Soft tyres to the mediums, nothing too fancy to look at there. Some people might use the hards, but mediums will be just fine for us, as there is no rain in this race forecast as we now go to the 5 red lights. And the lights are out. We are underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a pretty good start for us versus the cars around us. Kvyat, though, is trying to block us off. We're going to just ease the car in around the outside of him. And Lewis Hamilton, Raikkonen just blocks us off. We can't quite get around the outside of him. He's going to run side by side with Romain Grosjean as we head towards Eau Rouge for the first time in this race. Let's hope we can all get through cleanly. Raikkonen round the outside of Grosjean. Good move by him there. And as we look back, Hamilton's gone. He's around backwards at the top of Radion. And that is a huge mistake for Lewis Hamilton in this race. He almost hits the wall as he's trying to do a 3-point turn to get out of that situation. But that is a massive mistake by one of the championship contenders starting at the back of the field. That is something he could not afford. He has just made this recovery drive even more difficult as he narrowly avoided contact with Danny Kvyat as well. No contact with any other cars, just lost the back end all on his own. Just a simple mistake there, and he almost crashes into the wall trying to get the car turned around. So a disaster start to the race for Lewis Hamilton. This could be an important day in the championship. If Valtteri Bottas can get through the field on a day his teammate is struggling. Kvyat getting the better of us as we ran wide through Ravage. But anyway, we continue on putting pressure on Kvyat, but he himself goes down the inside of Grosjean into La Source, and they're going to run side by side along the next straight towards Eau Rouge. So we could have another side-by-side moment ahead of us as we head through Eau Rouge and Radion. Once again, Grosjean and Kvyat side by side. Grosjean on the outside, Kvyat trying to squeeze through on the outside of Radion, and he's got the move done. That was a really nice move by Kvyat. We've got to get the run on these two as well to the inside. Kvyat, though, blocking us off very awkwardly, and we're just going to fan the throttle there and back out of that situation because that didn't look like it was going to end too well. They the gap was seeming to close, so we're just going to just stay calm and run our own race. We'll get another chance to overtake them in the near future. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton has caught up to us once again. We gave him a bit of a squeeze going into the bus stop chicane, but thankfully no damage for either of us, so we can both continue. Just a bit of light contact made on the entry there, but we eventually do get a nice run through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. DRS now is available, the slot in the rear wing opening up for both us and Grosjean, and we get a good run. We go either side, I think, of the Williams there, and move ourselves ahead of George Russell. Grosjean doesn't get the move done though, so he may have been a little bit boxed in behind him, but we move on once again, and now Hamilton is putting the pressure on as he head into the bus stop chicane. Hamilton to the outside, we're going a little bit deep, but we're going to cover him off and stay ahead of the Mercedes driver. That car is a lot faster than ours, so it would be quite impressive if we managed to beat him in this race, but we're going to try our best and see what we've got, and just see what we can do. I don't imagine we're going to be able to hold him off forever, but we will for as long as we can, just to prove that we can do it for no other reason really. So as we continue on, you can see how far back he is, and this is a demonstration of both how fast that Mercedes car is and how powerful the DRS is. You can see the extra speed he has along the straight, not quite enough as he goes sending one down the inside, but we're just going to manage to hold him off through the corners and run him out a little bit wide there through Lake Combe. But as we continue on, eventually he's going to find his way through at Blanchimont. So we'll see if we can stick with Hamilton for the time being, sit in the DRS, and hope that eventually we can come back at him. We have a little look up the inside into the bus stop chicane, but that's never really going to work. That Mercedes car is faster in pretty much every part of the track to us, but we actually do get a good run as we head towards Lake Combe once again to the outside of Hamilton. We're going to actually manage to pull it around to the inside of the next corner, and we're going to make the move stick and get back ahead of the 5-time champion. That is a really nice move on Lewis Hamilton, but again, unfortunately, at this same part of the racetrack, we're going to leave him plenty of space because we really don't need to race him. He's much too fast for us, so there's no point trying to battle through this section of track, and we let him pass.
The car ahead is 3.8 seconds.
And as we continue on, struggling strangely with that right-hander quite a lot, but yeah, he is much faster than us. And even Pierre Gasly, who's made a stop onto the hard tyres, now overtakes us. And not long after that, it is now time for our one and only pit stop in this race, and we'll get rid of these soft tyres and put medium tyres on. But I was really struggling for pace, and it's because of this. We had a little bit of front wing damage, so we'll get a new nose on the car, and that will hopefully give us a bit more grip on.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
A little bit more grip at the front of the car for the rest of the race than the damaged wing could give us. So as we continue on, Romain Grosjean retires from the race with a mechanical failure, and the Haas car goes up in smoke at Blanchimont. He pulls off to the side, no safety car or anything.
Gap ahead is 14.1 seconds.
So as we continue on, we gain that free position, and we re-emerge as Russell comes out of the pits behind him. So we've lost a lot of time.
DRS will be offline. There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out. We can work on a fix remotely.
We've lost a lot of time at the start of that stint, and with the damage. So we need to push on and make these medium tyres work for us and try and get through the field. Otherwise, we'll literally be finishing last if things stay as they look at the moment. So here we come to the outside of George Russell as we head towards Lake Combe, and we get the move done nice and easy around the outside of the Williams there, and move ourselves up into 20th position. So next up is
We're in P20.
Kevin Magnussen, But meanwhile, this is the battle for the lead. This is Verstappen leading the race, but he is yet to make a stop. And this is Daniel Ricciardo right behind him. He has made a stop, so things are looking very, very good for Daniel Ricciardo in this race if things go well for him. But Bottas is also flying through the field, so we'll have to watch his progress as well as we get a nice run on Kevin Magnussen. We go to the inside as we head towards Les Combes, and we get the move done on the Dane and move ourselves up into 19th position. Next up is the other Williams of Nicholas Latifi. Let's try to overtake the Canadian exactly the same way as we did Kevin Magnussen along the straight. We go to the outside this time, but easy enough. We make the move and moved ourselves up into 18th. So it seems like we have some decent pace on these medium tyres, a lot better than what we had in that first stint on the soft tyres. Here's the replay of the move on Nicholas Latifi, nice and easy along the straight, and managed to get the move done before we turned in for the corner. So that was a very helpful manoeuvre for us. But Kimi Raikkonen also retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so that's another free position for us, and that'll put us up into 17th as things stand. So out of the cars that are slower than us, there's really only Antonio Giovinazzi ahead at the moment. But this is the battle for the lead. That's Ricciardo right ahead of Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas rather, as Sainz and Verstappen battle away for third position. But back focusing on our race, we have caught up to our teammate, actually, Nobuharu Matsushita, and we're going to go blazing past him in a straight line. So he seems to be lacking a little bit of pace in the latter half of this race. He was doing quite well there for a while, but yeah, he's not running quite at the pace.
Giovinazzi ahead. Gap to car in front is 1.6 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 19 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:49.4. You're gaining by 1.6 seconds a lap.
Yeah, not running at quite the pace that we are. So we move on, and we very swiftly catch up to Antonio Giovinazzi, who is on the hard tyres in a much slower car than us. So this should be a relatively easy overtake on Antonio if we can.
Leading our teammate by 2.5 seconds.
If we can get close enough, but Matsushita has really dropped off behind us too. So I was hoping he could try and follow me through and catch up to Giovinazzi with me, but unfortunately he seems to have dropped back. But anyway, we'll have the DRS along the Kemmel Straight, so you can see the overspeed we have versus the Alfa Romeo. To the outside we go, and we're just going to fly straight past him and move ourselves up into 15th position. So not a bad result, pretty decent, I'm trying to say, as we have to take a little bit of a wide line understeering through the right-hander there, but we maintain a position ahead of Giovinazzi, and now we can just try and get to the end of the race. So we move on now to the end of lap 41, just over 3 laps to go in this race now, and we haven't been able to get rid of Giovinazzi. We've actually really dropped off the pace in the last few laps compared to Giovinazzi and Matsushita. So yeah, we need to get a move on as we go for a huge slide though through the final corner, and that's going to give Giovinazzi an opportunity to get back past. Here comes Matsushita as well. He goes to the inside as we head towards the first corner. He's almost looking for a move on Giovinazzi there, but not able to make that work. We're going to try and get a good exit out of La Source, but didn't really work out for us. So we move on a little bit later onto the penultimate lap of the race, and now we're struggling to keep up with Matsushita and Giovinazzi. So yeah, we're really struggling for pace in the closing stages, but Matsushita certainly is not. He's putting pressure on Giovinazzi along the Kemmel Straight. We're just within DRS range of Matsushita, thankfully, on the straight, but you can see Matsushita goes for the move on Giovinazzi, gets it done, moves himself up into 15th. So now I need to get a move on and get ahead of Giovinazzi and get that final position that we can potentially obtain in this race as we head into the closing stages. A lap and a half to go now, and we are going to throw everything at it to try and catch the Alfa Romeo in front of us and get that position. We should be faster than the Alfa Romeo. He's on the hard tyres, we're on the mediums, and our car naturally should be faster than them, so we have no excuse, and you can see we are catching him at a relatively high pace. A lot of understeer though through the Fagnes chicane. Meanwhile, as we just starting the final lap, Valtteri Bottas is already coming across the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix from starting near enough to the back of the grid. Daniel Ricciardo will not be displeased with the second place. Along the Kemmel Straight though for the final time, we go to the inside of Antonio Giovinazzi, and we're going to fly straight past the Italian and go up to 16th position on the final lap. Matsushita is out of reach for us now, but we have managed to get ahead of Giovinazzi and gained the best probable position that we can get in this car, 15th and 16th. The AlphaTauris of Kvyat and Gasly probably too fast for us. Gasly especially had a pretty good race, I think. So yeah, I don't think we really ever had a chance of beating them, and getting close to Matsushita as well after starting at the back is not a bad result. So I'll take it.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Obviously, we probably could have beat Matsushita if we didn't make that mistake, but at the end of the day, it's 15th and 16th for the team either way, so it's not a big deal.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they persevered to take the win here today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think we'll chalk this one up to a deft touch on the brake pedal. That's allowed them to challenge down the inside into the braking zones, and ultimately, if you do that often enough, you end up winning the race. It was great to watch as well though, wasn't it? Forget strategy, forget tyre management. Who doesn't love a good old-fashioned scrap?
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
What a race from Bottas, starting near enough to the back of the grid, around 18th position or something, I think, for him. Ends up coming through to win the thing. Daniel Ricciardo stands on the podium in P2. Max Verstappen finishes third.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Fins have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed, and a good job in traffic as well.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
What a race that was. Spa always delivers, and boy did it deliver once again. Crazy drive from Bottas. Ricciardo starting on pole position as well. I kind of neglected to mention that at the start of the race, but crazy race for all involved really, and a lot of mixing up of the grid with the Mercedes fighting through from the back. Hamilton, with that mistake, didn't even finish in the points, so that is a huge blow in the championship, and not in his favour as he goes for a spin in the background. So yeah, he's going to need something special now in this championship. He was already on the back foot, not really with a lot of momentum in the last few races versus Bottas, and this is not what he needed if he wants to add another world championship to his tally. But anyway, yeah, for us though, as I sort of mentioned at the end of the race, I don't think we could have gone much higher even if we didn't mess up the qualifying engine stuff. We just don't have the pace to really compete with the kind of midfield teams. So yeah, we're stuck with Alphas, Hasses and Williams for the time being, and battling with those guys. Obviously, even our teammate Matsushita will be showing where the car I guess should be relatively, and yeah, he was just ahead of all those teams that I just mentioned there. So yeah, I don't think we could have done much better really, no matter where we started. And it turned out to be a pretty satisfying race actually, coming through the field at the end, passing the Alfa Romeos, one of the Alfa Romeos, as well as Kevin Magnussen, the Williams cars. It was a pretty fun race all in all. So yeah, I'll certainly take it.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts.
Okie.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
Not at all. We seemed to be very quick in a straight line versus the cars we were fighting with. So yeah, that certainly helped us out today and made some good overtakes.
You lost to your teammate today. Was it just not your day?
Yeah, there was a bit of a mistake in the latter stages that you may have seen, and that is ultimately what cost that position. But at the end of the day, it's still the same 2 positions for the team. So
Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with...
I'm not answering that.
Appreciate your time.
I appreciate yours sometimes. Now, rivalry. Unfortunately, we don't get the faster lap than Gasly, which is a bit of a shame because he finished the race on hard tyres. So that's not great, but I guess that might make sense because the hard tyres will still be in pretty good condition by the end of the race, whereas the mediums probably wear out a little bit. Kind of makes sense. The AlphaTauri car is faster. We don't get all the sponsor bonuses because we didn't finish in the top 10, so DSB Optics not paying us out for that bonus. But anyway, $4.74 million in the bank.
Boss, this week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Bit loud there, Carl. But anyway, as for the activity timeline, we need to fill up only 2 days until the next event. So we will do this one here that improves the acclaim, the marketing strategy conference that will boost up our team acclaim by a decent chunk, and well, hopefully that will help us sign more sponsors sooner and all of that jazz. We have enough money to go for a facility upgrade. We're going to stick with the powertrain like we have the last few times and upgrade the build time. The final Spec 1 upgrade we have left, and I think that will come in after Italy. So it'll take a little while, but it's no big deal at this point, and it will help us get upgrades on the car much sooner. Next up, we can actually buy some more driver perks now that we have reached acclaim level 8. So we can do the social media team that will boost up our driver acclaim even further. We can do the power mapping to decrease the engine wear even further. Media coaching to give us extra interview answers, and development feedback, extra resource points, and we're just going to get all of them because they are all helpful and we can afford it, so we might as well just knock those out the way right now. Other than that though, not too much else to say. I just went through and basically colour matched the car and the driver suit with the banner that I've been using for the top and bottom of the thumbnail picture.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Check your R&D screen to order any redevelopments.
Oh, and an absolute disaster before the end of the episode. That major engine upgrade that we had coming for the Italian Grand Prix has unfortunately failed on us, so we'll not have that to push us forwards around the Italian Grand Prix. So that's unfortunate. Engine upgrade would have been very, very handy around that circuit, and well, you can see the impact on the right hand side that upgrade would have had where that little marker is on the chart there. But so yeah, that's really disappointing, but oh well, we'll just have to deal with it and get that upgrade on the car later in the season. But other than that, not too much else to say, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.